you have the boarding looking passes that you would have a scan code, you can go upstairs, have them scanned, and win free gifts from Bio Ayurveda right on the first floor. And also, you can talk to Beta Monks Technologies for any technological requirements or websites or anything else to do with technology. They'll sort you out. Are you guys ready? Awesome! We have a very, very special delegation in the house. It is such a pleasure for us to welcome everybody from the New Mexico State University. Come on over, girls. We have Camila Prieto, Clara Maxam, Grace Igwe, Olivia Riblet, Rebecca McCarthy, Sage Baraza, Stacia McIntosh, and Abby Naira. They have traveled from the USA to speak with us and tell us about everything they're doing at their university. I hand you to Olivia. No, I'm not giving you Olivia till you give us. Perfect. That's a little bit
awesome. Yeah.
Should I go up here? Yes. Okay. I think with your laptop it's better.
Hello, how is everybody doing today? You guys doing pretty good? Awesome. Well, like she said, I'm Olivia Riblet, and this is the New Mexico State Delegation. We're so proud to be here. We thank you guys so much. It's such a pleasure. It's incredible to be here in India. So I have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever heard of Harry Potter? Just a question. Yeah? I know, I don't even know. But, so there's a super awesome character named Albus Dumbledore, and he's the headmaster at Hogwarts, the school that Harry attends. So he is super smart and wise, and he's always giving good advice. And he once said that it matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. He recognized that it was not birth that determined our path, but the choices that we make. He also said that it is our choices that show what we truly are far more than our abilities. If both of these things are true and choices are so important, how do we make the right choices and follow the right path? Inspiration is what leads us to a choice, which will eventually lead us down a path. And basically, inspiration is literally defined as the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something. So what we are inspired by will eventually guide our actions. So what has inspired you to create your own business? What has drove you to write your book? What has guided you to become a musician? What has inspired you to be a mother, you know? In my life, I've been inspired by so many people and things. My parents inspired me to always smile and be kind. The books I read created an unceasing imagination. My sister showed me how laughter can brighten even the darkest room. My brother encouraged me to pursue my dreams no matter the obstacles. 4-H guided and nurtured my love for animals, and my faith in God has allowed me to live a life of love. So in conclusion, the first thing I ask is that you reflect on what and who has inspired you and be thankful for them and those things. And the second thing I ask is that you continue to be an inspiration to others, because you don't even know the profound impact that you might be having in someone's life. Thank you guys so much, and I would like to introduce Grace, who will be talking about assumptions. Thank you guys again.
Okay, so a lot of what Olivia just talked about was about inspiration, and it can be summed up in basically a quote saying, so what we are inspired by will eventually guide our actions. But these actions are also guided by assumptions, and these could be assumptions about what other people expect us to do or about what we expect ourselves to do, specifically as women. And so we may be expected to follow traditional job routes, such as being a nurse versus pursuing, a career in engineering. We might be expected to leave our careers and, become stay-at-home moms or something like that. Or we ourselves might assume things about each other, like we're not capable of performing a job, or that we're not strong enough to succeed in a certain profession. But these are just assumptions. The things that the world says that you should do are irrelevant to your destiny. Like your destiny is just what it is, like has nothing to do with what anybody else thinks about what you should be doing. But these assumptions exist. We can either, succumb to these assumptions, or we can just live our lives the way that we're supposed to live them. You define your own path in life, and it's not going to be an easy road. But one of the main things that we should have is patience, patience that the process that we're going through is the right path for us, and patience that all of the things that we're supposed to become in life are just going to make themselves known. So that's all I have to say. I'd like to introduce Rebecca, who's talking about stereotypes.
So, like Grace said, I'm Rebecca, and Grace had some really awesome points about what assumptions do to how we live our lives and what we believe about ourselves. But sometimes these assumptions also begin to play a role in the lives of other people. And so I'm going to focus on stereotypes. And to get this started, I would like you guys to just take a minute and imagine with me. You step outside of your house, wherever it is that you live, and you see someone walking down the street that doesn't look quite like you do. What is the first thing that you notice about that person? Is it the color of their skin? Is it what they're wearing? Or maybe how confident they look? Now, once you've observed this person, what is your next step? Do you stop right there with just what you've physically observed? Or do you take it one step further and start to make assumptions about the person that you just saw? Do you assume that maybe they are more or less educated than you? Do you assume that they're maybe wealthier than you, or that they have a better lifestyle than you? What just happened were two critical components in the observation that you made. First, you observed a person, and then you decided exactly how you were going to characterize what that person looks like. This characterization of other people is what we call stereotypes. And the problem with stereotypes is when we create this idea of what somebody is without ever taking the chance to actually get to know the person for who they truly are. One of the greatest opportunities that we have in life is to not just get to experience life through our own visual perspective, but to experience life with other people. When we start to form stereotypes and categorize people just off of what we observe, we fail to truly get to know people for who they are. And in doing so, we take away from our own life experience. When we characterize and stereotype people, we not only miss out on the opportunity to get to know them as a friend, but we, in the end, hurt the person that they are by not truly giving them an opportunity to represent themselves for who they are. So, my encouragement to you is to take a step back and not be first to stereotype someone just off of the observations that you make, but to truly get to know that person and to experience life with them before you just jump to conclusions to who that person may be. Now I would like to introduce Sage, who will be talking about choices.
Hello, as Rebecca said, my name is Sage Barraza, and it's a great honor to be speaking here today. And I'm going to be talking about the freedom to choose. And thinking about what I was going to say today, I just kept coming back to like one thing, and that's the most beautiful part of our lives is that we do have the freedom to choose. Because so often I think that there are circumstances in our life that we kind of let get us down, like, oh, I don't have enough money to do this, or I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And the most beautiful thing I think is that we do have the freedom to choose and to make choices that can get us out of those situations and really encourage us. Like, we have the freedom to choose if we want to believe the stereotypes that pop into our minds about people, and we have the freedom to choose to be patient in life, and the freedom to choose to be kind to people. And we all made the choice to be here today, and I think that's one of the best choices that I've ever made. And so I just want to say to be really conscious about the choices that we make, because that is one of the biggest things that we have control over in our life, are our choices. And if we take a look at where we are right now and look back, every single choice that we've made in our life has brought us to this exact moment. So the choices that we make every single day do matter. And so I just want to encourage everybody to make sure and pay attention to the choices that you make, because we do have the freedom to choose who we are and who we want to be. So, and next, I would like to call up Clara to talk about choices in leadership.
Awesome. So my name is Clara. I'm here with New Mexico State University, of course. And I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about how my leadership and choices have affected me, and hopefully encourage you guys to make good choices and lead in the communities that you already are in. Starting in college, at least in the United States of America, we are given the opportunity to make decisions about who we want to be without really any other people judging us. From high school to college, that's a huge difference, because in high school, you're kind of governed by your parents, you're told what to do, and once you get to college, you get to decide what you want to do, who you want to be, and no one really judges you for it. And for me, this has been a really awesome opportunity to get involved in the things I want to do, stand by the values that I truly believe in, and really figure out what they are, figure out what I'm passionate about, and figure out what I want to do without my parents telling me what to do, without other people's views affecting that. And I think that's been a really awesome thing about being in college and really becoming more the person that I am today. I wanted to read you guys a quote today, and it goes, "Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want different results, start making different choices." And for me, that really means something that goes along the lines of these choices that we make affect our everyday life. So I made the choice to say yes to this wonderful opportunity to come to India and speak to you all and listen to these great presenters this week. And that's just one of the many opportunities that we can say yes to, make the decision to say yes to, but also have the ability to say no to things when we need to and make that decision. I've heard some great talks today about saying no as well as saying yes when you want to and when you feel it's the right decision for you, and those are the values that you live by. I also wanted to read you guys another quote that really spoke to me, and it goes, I heard it actually at a Rodeo Queen clinic, and it goes, "You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, so choose wisely." And I want you guys to think about that for a second, because it really struck me. They said, you're probably the same wealth status as the 5 people you surround yourself with most, probably a similar weight, you're probably a similar involvement in the community as those people you surround yourself with, and probably a similar education level. And this really spoke to me, because it really is those 5 people that define you as your average. And to be a higher average, you must surround yourself with people who are better than you and reach that next level of ability to continue growing and being that person that you really truly want to be and reaching that level. With that, I'd like to invite Abby up to the stage. She's going to talk about some emotional IQ.
Thank you so much, Clara. Again, my name is Abby Naira, and going off of leadership, making sound choices that lead to a person embodying their truest, most whole version of themselves involves very nuanced levels of self-awareness. To garner that awareness, one has to dig deep, quite literally. Now, one must peer into their histories and reflect on how they had knowledge transmitted to them, which affects how they view not only the world, but themselves and how they think that they should contribute to it. One assesses the integrity and sustainability of their foundations, asking, are these truly my values, my thoughts, and my feelings? How do I externalize or communicate these inner thoughts into my actions? And how do they affect the relationships that I build with people? What kind of people do I bring into my inner worlds with this endeavor to share and nurture our outer worlds? By intentionally, intimately trying to decipher our inner languages, and how we speak to ourselves, we can actually then understand how we view and care for ourselves. That level of emotional intelligence, the ability to translate something so intangible, yet capable of holding so many feelings, is integral to authentically communicating and understanding others of any level of education, of any occupation, any measure of wealth, of any culture or global language barrier. It's integral to understanding why others communicate and externalize in the ways that they do. This is understanding, a level of understanding, that in order to know how a mechanism works, you have to dig deep to get it to its motor and learn how that works. The human brain is one of the most powerful mechanisms. So learning how the motor works of others and how they drive them, we learn how to speak their deeply nuanced, inner, personal languages and nurture growth in all spaces, personal or professional. And with that, I would like to introduce and bring up Stacia, who will elaborate on those professional spaces and emotional well-being. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abby. All right. I'm Stacia McIntosh. I'm so excited to be here today. This talk is going to take a little bit more of a serious tone. I can see that we're kind of going more serious as we speak. But when we think about mental well-being, garnering empathy and compassion can be a challenge when you're approaching certain personality types. And I'm going to focus on one personality type in particular that tends to sprout uncontrollably in certain individuals that are susceptible to it, especially in graduate school, which happens to be specific to my personal situation right now. Now I'm talking about people pleasers. These are individuals who are more concerned with approval than honesty, and they're quick to mirror, saying what they believe they should say, deferring to someone else's opinion, even if they didn't share it, and avoiding being disliked at all costs, even if in the end it results in looking disingenuous. The unnerving thing about people pleasers is that they so often defer to try to please that they can actually attract very controlling people. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it, right? So someone who always wants to win will obviously really enjoy and then exploit someone who always lets them win, right? So people pleasers then are more eager to offer someone whatever it is they want, praise, attention, warmth, investment, in order to feel valued, while controlling folks thrive from the safety they feel about being able to offer or revoke their investment or affection at any time. That in turn creates this intense power dynamic, right? So the people pleaser is trying to endlessly earn acceptance and sustain that feeling of worthiness, while the controlling person decides whether or not they want to offer that in return at all. They can withdraw that approval at any time, and they can choose when to be pursued or regain a sense of control simply by giving or withholding approval. This can be used in a lot of manipulative ways and is represented in a number of different classes of society and different workplaces. If any of, oftentimes neither of these parties really realize what's happening, and they're both just pursuing what makes them feel safe. So if any of this rings true for you, it's time to really get honest about it. Recently, I realized that this actually describes me, and whether or not this was an existing problem that graduate school exacerbated is up for debate. But toward the end of my PhD, when my personal and professional lives have both somehow fused into one, it's become pretty unsustainable. So I'm still working on combating this. I used to think it was the nature of the beast of graduate school, but now I've realized that I'm not alone, and I've begun reaching out. So this conference has actually been one such act, and it's been incredibly inspiring and healing to be here, and I'm so grateful to be here. And Camilla is actually going to be speaking about another such act. She'll be speaking about empowering women around you. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Camila Prieto. So after listening through the different things women have to go through, think about how we would go through all these things if it wasn't for the people supporting us and if it wasn't for the different women empowering us. To start off, I would like for you to think about the characteristics that define us as women: intelligent, loving, determined, responsible, organized, ambitious, caring, and I could go on and on nonstop. We are that amazing that whatever we are given, we make it greater. All these qualities, believe it or not, define us as women, and we are blessed to be defined by them. But there are times that we do not see all that we possess, and this has to go to self-esteem, the perception and love we have about ourselves and how valuable we think we are. We have heard how we have to love ourselves and accept ourselves for others to do so, but it's not as easy as it sounds. That is why we need women who have higher self-esteem to empower women and make them realize how valuable they are. By believing that we possess all these qualities and putting them all together, working as a team, we will create sisterhood. Working together, motivating each other, and supporting each other is what will create that amazing bond of sisterhood. Achieving higher self-esteem to then working in sisterhood will lead to the major results, which is success, groups and individual success. By supporting each other, we will rise in success as a group and make big changes as women. We as women should support each other, comprehend each other, motivate each other to work harder and have better self-esteem, to celebrate and be happy for others' success just like if it were our own, and especially to empower each other. Because remember, alone you will get where you want, but in sisterhood you will get where you want and further. The New Mexico State University Delegation Sisters and I thank you for having us at this wonderful conference.
Thank you very much. Dr. Harbinora, would you like to say a few words for these inspiring young leaders that we have, young women leaders that we have in the house? A big round of applause for the entire team.
A round of applause for all these amazing girls. We had a delegation from the New Mexico State University last year, and they realized we were made for each other. And you so kindly participated in that auction, which was towards the Mission Million. And they were so amazing. They said, we don't know how much we will do, but we pledge the minimum bid, which is 10,000. And it's okay if you don't give us the dress or you give it to us. It doesn't matter. We will still do it. And that was just so amazing. And let me tell you, we have a Mission Million dashboard where everybody keeps recommending more women. And guess who has the highest number of recommendations done for the Mission Million so far?
New Mexico.
It's the New Mexico State University, which is leading in contributions to the Mission Million. So, my dear sisters, young women of great potential, great passion, great purpose, I am so, so proud of each one of you. Thank you so much.
With that, we will start our Young Leaders Awards. I would like to bring upon Camila Perito to please come up on stage and receive her Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All Award. Next, I would like to call upon Clara Natsam. Please come up on stage and receive her Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All Award. Grace Igwe, Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All. Congratulations, Grace. Olivia Riblet, please come up on stage and receive your Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All reward. Rebecca McCarthy, please come up on stage. Another Young Leader Creating a Better World for All. Sage, if I could please have you come up on stage. Baraza, Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All. Next, I would like to call upon Stacy McIntosh, Young Leader Creating a Better World for All. A big round of applause for Stacy. Abby Naira, iconic woman creating a better world for all. A warm welcome, Abby. Congratulations Can I please bring upon the entire panel to come up on stage and take a quick photograph with Dr. Harbeen Arora? Ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. Young Leaders Creating a Better World for All. A big round of applause.